Matters Politics and Matters Governance. My name is Tamara Patience, and as usual, when we talk about matters politics, we never fail to ask the question who did what, where, why, how, and as usual, again, how much money was spent, how much more money is going to be spent, or how much more or less is the taxpayer going to incur. And I'm joined by Emmanuel Bosire, who's our analyst who helps us understand, as well as Chambua, what is happening, of course, in Kenya, Africa, East Africa, and the world at large. Now, yesterday we had President William Ruto grace the festival that is happening in Lodwar town, that is the Tubonglore Festival. And today we saw Baba, that is Raila Odinga, grace the same occasion, though this was met with something that he wasn't expecting. Mheshimiwa Rais, or no, Mheshimiwa Baba, yes, was actually denied, denied the chance to speak or to give his opinion or even say hi to the people on stage. And this made him, we could say, mad or react some type of way. Now, of course, after the whole event, we saw him give a press briefing or a press statement citing different aspects or different things or different opinions about how he viewed, number one, the festival, of course, number two, stating how he came up with the ministry dealing with assaults, stating that Turkana is actually facing great economic problems and how to solve them. And just before we get into it, let's just take a look at the video and then we'll be right back.
To start something of this nature, and told him that is really welcome. I encouraged him, and I was here at the first festival, culture festival. From that time onwards, I've come consistently each and every year, except last year, because of the confusion that was reigning in the country. And it is always a good opportunity to meet and talk with people from Turkana. I usually come and stay more than one day. This festival, of course, is one of its kind, and it's being people from the region, the people who come from Ethiopia, some come from South Sudan, then from Uganda, and even from far away. So it's a very good cultural event. As you know that this region of East Africa is actually now known as the cradle of mankind, that mankind actually originated from here. The first species of humanoid has been found here in Turkana. And I've been to that site of Mr. Leakey, with the late Richard Leakey, several times. And he has taken me through this research work which he was doing in conjunction with the University in California and the UK. And it is actually amazing what is here. And that's the reason why each time I talk to people, foreigners who come here say, welcome home, because this is where the humanity actually started before it spread to other continents. That's what makes this place actually very unique. But I also know that this region actually has serious economic challenges. This area has suffered economic neglect for a long time, from the colonial days. This used to be part of what used to be known as NFD, the Northern Frontier District. It was completely excluded from development. And the subsequent independent government continued that marginalization. Remember when I was the Prime Minister, I'm the one who came up with a minister for arid and semi-arid lands and appointed Mr. Elmi to lead that ministry. That's when we started what you call affirmative action to deal with areas which have been historically neglected and mainstream them in development. And then when devolution came, we came up with a revenue share which were backwards. There is also equalization fund which is provided for in that structure. Now, we had big plans as Azimio for this region, which we would have started implementing. Now, I know that Mr. Ruto was here yesterday, and as is his nature now, practice, he made all those empty promises of what they intend to do for this region. But I know that there's a big disconnect between rhetoric and the reality as such. So what I wanted to do here today is basically to tell these people that they need to unite together with the people of Kenya. This region has voted for me and for ODM and Azimio overwhelmingly in the last general elections. We have 3 members of parliament from this region. We have some members of county assembly. The governor himself is from ODM. Even the previous governor, Mr. Nanok, was also from ODM. And I enjoy a lot of support. I don't need anybody's invitation to come to Turkana. Turkana is part of Kenya. I lead a political party, which is Kenyan political party, and a coalition. So I don't need anybody's invitation to come here. And when I come and the people want me to talk, actually, it is the height of stupidity to refuse me even an opportunity to greet the people. The governor, of course, was feigning that he was not aware, because he was very aware. And I know that he gave assurances to Mr. Ruto that he will not allow us to speak here today. That is the height of political intolerance and hypocrisy. But we are not deterred as Azimio. And I want to actually assure our supporters in Turkana we will be coming back. We'll come back for a political rally. And to talk to them more seriously about what needs to be done. These people suffer the same thing that the rest of the country is suffering from. The cost of living, they've been told, is very high for the people here. Most of them cannot make ends meet in an arid region like this one here. We need to do affirmative action. This is the area where the government should do subsidies so that people can really make ends meet. Some of them are not even able to take their children to school. The healthcare system itself is suffering seriously. And you know that this regime has no proper plans to improve healthcare. They are trying to centralize healthcare, to move it from the counties. But I know that they just want to recreate the past. The same thing is applying with education. As you see, that university education is going to collapse unless something drastic is done to rescue it. So we have come, and I'm happy that the people have escorted us very well. I just want to tell them we will be back soon. Thank you very much.
Asante. No questions, thanks. Because of flight time.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mheshimiwa Madam.
Yeah, so that was the opposition leader Raila Odinga speaking at That was the opposition leader, that is Raila Odinga, speaking at Lodwa during the Lodwa town, that is during the Tubong Lore festival. And of course, he has mentioned a couple of things, among them being the fact that Ruto was assured that he will not speak today. Of course, you know, where Baba goes, we expect Baba to even say hi to the people, but that was not the case during this particular festival. Of course, when he was making his way into where the main occasion is, he had time with the people to greet the people in the town, and of course he asked them to continue supporting Azimio La Umoja. We also saw the likes of Martha Karua speak, urging the citizens of Turkana County to continue standing with Azimio La Umoja. Prior to that, of course, you saw the president William Ruto speaking something different, akiwaambia hata kama mkunipigia kura, I am still going to maendeleo bado itaendelea na bado nilishinda, ila ni kwa maombi. So number one, of course, Raila has said that Ruto was assured by the people that he was not going to allow Baba to speak, and he also touched on the big plans that Azimio La Umoja had for this particular region. Now, according to Baba, alisema easy plans Azimio zilikuwa nazo for Turkana as an ASAL, they would have already started seeing implementation. Do you think that if Azimio actually got the seat, that would have been so?
You know, Turkana has been Baba's bed from Nanok's time being the governor. Many other leaders of the region. You heard the president acknowledge that in as much you did not vote me in large numbers, I'm somehow sure that the numbers will increase by 2027 through the development projects that I'm going to run and complete in that area. True, when you go to an election, you have some expectations. Or like there's the hard expectations from Turkana region. When it did not happen and it went opposite, now that Raila lost, some people using ODM won the elections. So they will find it difficult to get the benefits from the government because they'll be termed to be in ODM or as near at large. Unless then they join the government. That's why you see others either voluntarily or by being bought crossing over from Azimio coming to Kenya Kwanza. No. Due to the pressure, you know, political pressure at times. There are times where the country is bigger than an individual. And when it reaches to that point, you as a politician, you have to determine. So to answer your question is that Azimio's plans were affected and will always be affected because they lost the elections. Yeah.
And you've said that Turkana is actually one of Baba's bedrooms, but this time round he was not allowed to talk here, and he clearly stated that Ruto was assured that he will not speak today, and clearly Baba hakuongea leo kabisa. What does that make of the kind of assumption we had about the relationship between Ruto and Raila, with the assumptions of the secret handshake?
That's easy as drinking water. It's very easy. That's political. It's political. Politically planned. Politically planned. I know many will not believe this, and many will maybe differ with me. It was politically planned. Just like we saw the other time. You know, these are political developments. When the graph is rising, you either look for a way to make it remain stagnant or look a way to curve it, a sharp bend in politics. So the pressure has been, the president was in Luo Nyanza last week. According to the festivals, the program was Raila to start and then Ruto was to go today. So these are way hard to be looked, so that to reduce the pressure of the president towards leaders from Mount Kenya, it was to be more evident that the president is working with Raila Amolo Odinga. how do we calm the minds of Kenyans?
No.
At this point, is to plan something. You go. You know, honestly, if we follow the procedure, Raila Odinga had to speak. He was to be given an opportunity to speak. But for him to be denied, who denied him? Who has the authority?
Of course, the governor is the one who was.
Yeah, so that's why I'm giving my own opinions that this was well planned. Raila Odinga knew he was not to be given a place to speak. You saw what was happening in Betsoyo politics of of William Ruto and President Uhuru Kenyatta.
No.
How many times was William Ruto denied an opportunity to speak?
Kava.
Many times. So these things, when you find them, they are politically planned. They are planned. Any political analyst and anyone who understands politics can know that this was well planned, so as to reduce the temperature. You know, the shift has moved from Gachagua. So some followers of Gachagua believe that there's no handshake. There's no deal with the president and Raila Odinga. So these are things that always are being planned, and you are aware. So you saw how the Raila reacted.
No.
He gave. So the thing is, not that he did not speak. He was given another place to speak from.
But was not given the main podium to address. Baba
No,
alikasema
the thing
hata kusalimia watu hamtaki
The thing
nisalimie.
is, Raila gave out his views today. The thing is, it's on a different ground.
No.
I was denied the podium here. I called the media here. He addressed people. So what he was driving home, we understand it and we know it. And maybe from the other hand, it could be that the president has realized, again, maybe if they were fixing Raila Odinga. You know, in politics, we don't have we are not biased, and that's why we're bringing on discussions that don't favor any side. So if we be talking that for sure, if the president planned it to be that Raila Odinga not to speak, this one was to happen in that maybe he has realized that there could be no relationship between him and Raila Odinga. But we saw yesterday the bipartisan talks agreeing to create an office for the prime cabinet secretary, and at the same time create an office for the official opposition leader. So meaning there have been an agreement. And no, to tell Kenyans that Raila was denied, I agree that, I don't know, I'm convinced that was planned.
Stage play.
It was very well managed.
And while talking, you've actually mentioned, if I can divert you kidogo, you talked about some of the agendas that have been agreed upon by the bipartisan talks. And among them, we have the 2/3 gender rule. And we saw UDA have the National Women Congress meeting at the Bomas of Kenya earlier on today. And the Deputy President really praised the women who have been given positions by UDA government, that is to lead, from MPs to governors and the likes. Now, with the number of women that are actually being put in UDA or being UDA sponsored all the way, do you think that William Ruto is trying to fast, or the UDA government is trying to quicken or hasten the completion or the accomplishment of the 2/3 gender rule?
The 2/3 gender rule is not William Ruto. The 2/3 gender rule is the constitution.
No.
That we as a country went in and made that temptation for us. Very soon, maybe coming years, we're going again to find people saying that we need 2/3 gender for men. But to go straight and answer your question is that we, not only William Ruto, but other presidents, either the ones before or the coming ones, they are laying a culture whereby leadership by women is being embraced and accepted in the society. So when you compare during the independence period, moving up to the first government, second President Moi, third President Kibaki, Uhuru Kenyatta, and now President William Ruto, you find that the number of women in leadership positions are increasing. Not only in government only, but all over the civil sphere, the corporate business world. So we're finding out that as a country, we are really embracing the female leadership. Now, these things take time. Now, if they take maybe the first decade to be laying a foundation for the next decade, so we're going to have maybe the female leaders that are now under government Ruto. They are a good number of youths. They are less than 35. When you look at those attending the Congress, the nominated senators, the nominated MCS, the party leaders, so majority of them are youthful. So meaning that by the next decade, when maybe President Ruto will be exiting as a president, you're finding that there's a new generation of female leaders. These ones will have improved political lifestyle. And second, they'll be again creating a new generation of young leaders, female leaders. So this will bring us maybe Vision 2030 as we're approaching it, maybe Vision 2050 as a country, and maybe someday a female leading our country. It's very possible. So when you see things are being done, you see the world has changed. So we have moved as far as whereby a man was everything. We've moved as far as whereby numbers. Let me ask you a biblical question before I start my Sabbath. How many children did Jacob had?
Many.
No, many how? They are numbered.
Many.
So for sure, many.
12 sons.
And how many daughters?
I don't remember the daughters.
And you don't even know.
Yeah.
Now for sure, Jacob had 13 children. So 12 were sons. But if you ask children in school, how many? They will say it to her. But Dina, the daughter, is not being counted. So we've come as far as from that, whereby we've reached, whereby we have the number of men, number of women. So things have changed. We've seen even a country where we are having presidential aspirants. We had Martha Karua going for presidency. So as a country, we are moving on and on, embracing the female leadership. We've seen them go to school. We've seen the country fighting against FGM, which I think as at now it's almost 90% complete, whereby we want to have a new culture whereby females are not circumcised. And when they are not circumcised, we've seen them go to schools. Statistics show that in every 100% enrolled students in national examinations, roughly 45% are female who are leading. So you see, even in as much men we still remain to be dominant, we have a little time female will even supersede us. And men, let's wake up, pull our socks and work hard. And even start but we don't defend boys. So you see every day in, day out, people are coming with organizations saying a girl child, a girl child, a girl child, forgetting about a boy child, a girl child, you don't mention a boy child. And soon you'll have a imbalance. And when you have an imbalance again, one side is going to be endangered. And about the National Congress for maybe what President William Ruto is doing. Females are very instrumental in politics. And that's why if you win the hearts of women in the community, you are 100% sure they'll vote for you. But it's difficult to convince men to vote for you. And as I've been saying here, Kenyan politicians see Kenyans as voters. They don't see you as a Kenyan. They see you as a voter. Now, maybe they are looking ways to tap into this demography. They are saying that we have demography of youths. We have a demography for men and women, whereby women and youths are done what? Are marginalized. But in Kenya, we don't have that. In Kenya, we have tribes. Before you become a man, you're either a Kisi or a Lui. You're either anyone. So what's happening here is that they are creating a new culture, whereby as Kenyans, we are able to embrace that we have female leadership. They can be able to do better than we can, and their roles in leadership will not supersede those of men. You see, there's no harm. You see, we had Maraga as the Chief
Chief
Justice.
Justice, yeah.
We're having Martha Koome now, doing the best. We have having Homa Bay Governor. She's doing well. Do you know the Homa Bay Governor?
Wow, Emmanuel. Wow. Wow.
She's really transforming Homa Bay. Even this Kawira Mwangaza, she's being fought that she's a woman.
Is that the case, though?
You know,
is he being fought? Is she being fought because she's a woman?
she's being fought because she's a woman. The main mistake she did was to employ her husband into a county position. The opposite always happens, and we don't complain. How many governors have employed their wives? How many?
Of course,
How
wako
many?
kadhaa.
Many of them. But now when you find that she now employing her husband, and maybe because men we are polygamous. Do we have females who are polygamous?
Polyandrists.
I don't tend to agree, but so that's what's happening. We're having a new culture, having new female leadership, and I want to believe that as a country, we're moving for far and far. And we've come far to reach a point whereby someone is asked, how many children do you have? I've got 3 ladies, I have 3 daughters. I don't have a son, and I'm comfortable. Not traditional ways whereby someone is looking for a son always.
No.
But still, men will remain relevant in the society. When you're given power, don't undermine men. You know, the problem with you ladies is that if I give you today, or you are being given a small position, you want to believe that you have it all, and you don't want to see the importance of me as a man. Like, for instance, I think you okay, continue.
Anyway, we are so grateful for the females who are rising up in leadership. Na Emmanuel alivyosema pia wanaume mjikaze. Mjikaze before we start now talking about the 2/3 gender rule, but this time looking for spaces for men. Now, if we go back to Turkana, that is the Tubonglure Festival, a statement that came out of the leader of opposition's mouth is that Ruto is a man of empty promises. Now, what does that say about, number one, the kind of relationship that we are looking forward to between Ruto and Raila, and number two, about how Ruto implements his project or implements the projects that he does, considering that imesemekana yeye ni a man of empty promises.
Yeah, for sure, he's a man of promises. Not only hopeful promises, but false promises. And when, as a country, you are being depicted as a leader with false promises, you lose your goodness to Kenyans, to voters. They don't trust you. You tell a child, I want to bring you a sweet. He or she should trust that when mom comes, he or she is going to bring me what? Sweet. But when you fail to bring, she will now start saying, you when mukora. And this applies not to any leader, not only the president. Any leader. If you are a leader and you don't fulfill your promises, it's better not even to promise. The problem with Kenyans we have in political leaders is that when they come, they want to sell us hope. They want to tell us what we want to hear. In other words, they know how to play with us. They know the price of unga is high. They will tell us, when I go there, I'll be able to reduce the price of unga. So you listen that the price of unga is going to fall down. Now the president was all over telling us that hustlers, he brought the hustler narrative, something that he might even end up not delivering. You told Kenya's President Ruto that you are an hustler, and for sure you are a dynasty, you're not a hustler. You are still adding promises per promises. What happened to 100 days? The first 100 days? What did he deliver the first 100 days? Tell me. The first year in government, what did you deliver? So you find out that as a president, when you move on and give promises upon promises, you are likely not to deliver them. That's why he keeps on making promises day in, day out. Because what he said is not true. This I apply that when you always speak false, using falsehood, to hide the falsehood that you say. But when you say the truth will always set you free. You know, now the president will to tell Kenyans, for sure things are hard, but let me try and see those that I'm able to do, I'll do. Those that I would not be able to do as a president, I'll be able to leave for someone else to do. So that's the only problem that he has of giving promises. Promises upon promises. Telling us tutaweka bilioni. You saw Matiang'i tell him that tutaweka bilioni 50. Do you know the Kenyan budget? Where do you get the 50 billion from?
No.
Utaweka kwa sector. Mamba mboga. Umezi mama mboga si amenyanyaswa. Boda boda man. Ulimwona akisaidika? Ulimwona kwa cabinet secretary? He said kwa kanisa akasema kwamba tukiunda serikali, serikali yangu itakuwa ya huyu mtu wa chini. Itakuwa ya mama mboga. Things that do not come to add up. And this one will affect me maybe coming 2027. What will he like to Kenyans? First, there's a handshake alikuwa anasema inaisha. At the moment, hafai kuongelea kuhusu handshake.
No. And okay, now when you look at, for example, the promises, the false promises that we're talking about, should now Raila Amolo Odinga be wary of Ruto?
Wary?
Yeah. Should he be more cautious of Ruto?
In what?
In terms of probably the talks that they're holding, and probably what we are going to see maybe probably come out of the bipartisan talks.
Yeah, for sure, President Raila Odinga should be very keen in handling President William Ruto. William Ruto is a professor in politics. He's a professor in politics.
No.
He knows how to convince Kenyans. He knows how to use his speech. He knows how to use media. He knows how to use money. He knows how to use military. So he can use everything possible to finish Raila Amolo Odinga. And maybe Raila should be keen with law number 16 of Kenya, 48 laws of power. When you go to politics, make sure you completely destroy your competitor. Maybe this is what William Ruto is playing. And we might not be seeing, but we can see it from another eye. That maybe you want to completely destroy Raila Odinga, his political career, and send him home. Like we saw today, Raila was denied a platform to speak. Maybe that's one of the ways that he has started. Because when you give Raila Odinga a platform to speak, he will also convince people. He will also tell people how bad you are. You remind Kenyans how the prices are high. So regarding that one, I can say that Raila Odinga and his political advisors, I know they are much aware. They are keen in studying the philosophies and maybe theories regarding the political developments at the moment, what should be done by opposition leader, and maybe the dangers that will be associated with him coming to the government. And it has been said, you know, the chief whip, Silvana Osoro, once spoke that we are only fixing Raila Odinga in his own game. You know, it's very dangerous to be fixed in your own game.
True.
When people study you, they know what are your main ways of addressing your issues. And then now they get the experts. Like now, they have wasted this time. The country has been cool for the past maybe 3 months. We don't have demonstrations again. So we handle in his own games. And now, maybe if the bipartisan talks fail, they will have completely fixed Raila Amolo Odinga. Na atakuwa ametumwa nyumbani mapema. So that's why he should be very keen. I know he is very keen in the other political advisors. But from the political developments, anything can happen.
And today we are sticking to Turkana, but before we go into something else, now we know when the president visited Nyanza region, the claims were that Raila is actually the one who gave permission, or Raila has to give permission so that Ruto can actually be welcomed and can be given a podium to speak. And now we are seeing what is happening in Turkana, Raila being denied the opportunity to speak. And during his press briefing, alisema the statement, I don't need anybody's invitation to come to Turkana, and Turkana, because Turkana is in Kenya. and they will be back for a political rally. What do you make out of all this? That when you go to Nyanza, of course, the president probably needed permission, as stated by some leaders from there. But when it comes to any other place in Kenya, then Baba is free to visit.
No, even your house, nobody comes to your house that knows that I'm in Kenya. I need to come to your house. There's a protocol. And Raila is a very technical politician.
No.
When you invite him, he will not come. But when you've not invited him,
he will come.
So that's what happens. And at times, it's very difficult for you to bridge the gap between the leaders, who to invite who. And there's no way in the constitution where the protocol is being observed. Raila does not have a seat as a Kenyan. So he's like any normal Kenyan as we speak. And these things, maybe we are saying former, they ended.
No.
So he's a normal Kenyan. Those are titles that the value of being a prime minister ended a long time ago. At the moment, we don't recognize a prime minister in Kenya. So the problem happens here is that when you have leadership that's being divided, and Ruto cannot compromise as Uhuru used to do. No. President Uhuru used to compromise and give us space for Raila Odinga to speak before himself speaks, and maybe deny Ruto the opportunity to speak. Things which should not be happening. So according to the leadership and protocol in ranks, there's nowhere where Raila should be coming in an official function to give out his speech. Now, unless the area governor have local arrangements and invite him. So if that function was to be a political function and Raila to be called, he would go and attend and give his speech.
No.
So I think the main thing that maybe made the problem and Raila being denied an opportunity, not that it was not to be denied not to speak, but at what place do we bring him? At what place do we bring him? Because if now we happen to have a place whereby we have the president, deputy president, who speaks first?
Of course, it's the deputy president who invites the president.
And the president invites who?
Probably says goodbye.
And then when Raila there, what does Raila do? So according to those, so it's very difficult. So if you have a situation and scenario where the deputy president is available, where the president is, who speaks first? So those are things that are going to be giving us challenges as a country, and maybe to navigate and see them through. But again, if now Raila is given an opportunity to speak before the deputy president, maybe between the deputy president inviting Raila Odinga, so they cannot work.
Anyway, we're looking forward to seeing what will come out of all this. Now, during the same event, it was a very weird occasion where Baba was seated together with his team, of course, the likes of Akina Martha Karua, and now members of parliament, or better yet, leaders, were now issuing complaints. Ni kama sasa Baba endo alikuwa amepelekwa bipartisan talk sample, And of course, we saw leaders from Turkana County really expressing displeasure to Raila Odinga, stating that Baba hajawasaidia in any way. And we also had one state that whoever the governor that is Napolitican says, huku ndo tunaenda, huko ndo wataenda, And I just want us to listen to this 5-minute clip of a leader from Turkana County, and then we'll be right back to discuss 1, 2, 3 things as we wind up.
Aya, tulisema tuheshimiane, tulisema tufanye nini? Very good. Aya, waheshimiwa MCS, kujeni tujulikane. Waheshimiwa Gavana ambaye ni mgeni wa heshima, kwa ruhusa yako, hawa ni viongozi wa hii county wako na midomo ya kujizungumzia na wanazasema mahali ambapo wametoka. Mheshimiwa wa town, sema jina lako.
Bwana asifiwe. Ekura Yesu kipuroe. Emujina leo anibomoi. Apatari leo anibomoi. Adhaki alimuni bere na sitaokopa kusema mimi ni UDA na mimi ni MCA wa UDA. Gavana na wageni waheshimiwa wenye wamefika, mimi naokopa Mungu na sitima. Ile kitu mimi nataka kusema, Raila anastahili kukaribishwa. Anastahili kukaribishwa. Sikia kwenda huko. Anastahili kukaribishwa kama babu kwa hii area. Hii ni kidamaduni inafanyika ya Waturkana. Wajaluo na Waturkana ni kitu moja. Wamekuja kwa udamaduni. Lakini heshima yenye imeingia ndio mbaya. Na mpaka tuseme hiyo. Raila unapewa heshima. Mimi na kuheshimu kama babu yetu. Lakini mimi Mturkana, mimi naongea kwa niaba yangu. Niliomba lini nitakutana na wewe nikuambie maneno kuliko maneno ya kusengenyana. Mimi nataka kukuambia sisi Waturkana tulikupenda kama Yesu. Na wewe ukatuchukia kama shetani. Musaimana amehangaika, wewe hujawahi pea nomination. Askulu huyu anatembea na wewe usiku na mchana, hujapea nomination. Badala upea school nomination unapea msichana yako. Hawa vijana wako na tabu. Wanataka kazi. Wangapi wewe umepeleka kwa ofisi yako babu yetu? Sisi tunakupenda, hatukuchukii, lakini tunalia kama watoto wako. Ruto. Tunapenda Ruto kwa sababu alipea Ekwe Edhuro kiti. Akapeana viti. Hata kama mulikunywa ya leo iishe. Mimi ningependa kuuliza kwa ofisi yako, wewe utuandiki sisi. Wewe hakuna siku Mturkana amepata nomination kutoka kwa UDA ya governor ya MP ya senator, hatujawahi pata. Hata ya mbunge, hata kama mimi sijapigia wewe kura, hodi wainua Mturkana, lakini kukunyisha watoto pombe hivi ndio mnawakunyisha. Mimi siokopi, mimi naokopa Mungu na sitima. Na Potikani ametukutanisha, na vile na Potikani ametukutanisha, sisi tuko nyuma ya Napotikani. Na sisi tutafata Napotikani. Napotikani alikuwa UDA, alikuwa Jubilee. Na vile tena Napotikani alikuwa URP. Napotikani alikuwa URP akiwa MCA. Yatubia. Na mpaka nikuambie baba yetu, ile kitu sisi tumekasirika, wachana na hao walipelekwa asubuhi mahali najua. Ile kitu tumekasirika. Wewe ni baba yetu na wewe unatuweka kando. Unapeana nomination kwa makabila yote. Hakuna MP Mturkana atasimama hapa aseme Raila amenipea nomination. Musaimana ameteseka na wewe ndio huyu yako mashinani anateseka, wewe hujampeleka. Nikimalizia, tunakukaribisha kama babu. Ingia kama babu. Nikiambia huyu kijana mheshimiwa kutoka Kitale. Mheshimiwa kutoka Kitale denye kubolele. Kwa muche mubolele ila muliko akupe awe Baturkana bisala. Efwe kwenya bisala. Efwe sa kuli bandu nenyo mubube tawe bali Baturkana bachinga.
Yeah, so those were some of the leaders from Turkana County during the Tubongere Festival where Raila Amolo Odinga attended today. Now, Emmanuel, what do you make of what we have just had?
You know, what she's saying, that when that leader was an MCA, he was in URP. URP near William Ruto. So meaning it's a political development that long time ago. It's like we saw UDM. We have a political party known as UDM that was started by William Ruto himself. So political developments could be starting long time ago, but they come in March, sometime later in the political timeline. So it is to some extent I saw some hate speech, but we hoped that she was speaking her mind, and maybe she has not known to give her political views and opinions. She is saying that when opposition we are being given pombe, tunapewa pombe in the other side, but tumeunganishwa na another leader whom to nominate. Now this is giving us why political leaders are one reality. Someone who has done for you good job in grassroots. You go to an election, you win an election. Those ones who fought for you, award them. Give them jobs. Because the moment you don't give them jobs, and maybe opposition for businesses, these same people they will be with in the ground will despise them.
No.
And when they despise them, they will not want to join politics. And when you go to the election next time, whom are you going to use? So people will say you used Flan and Flan. He campaigned for you. He worked extra hard. He made sure that you won the election. You did not reward him. Next time, whom are you going to use? People don't join your camp because you don't reward loyalty. So what the president is doing actually, as Gashawa says, that it's the shares. So from another extent, we don't need to politicize this. It's very same. Like I want to believe if Raila Amolo Odinga was to be president, Raila Odinga akae president, James Agri Orengo angekuwa deputy president, the likes of Babu Wino wangekuwa hapo kila siku. That's the goodness with politics. When you win elections, wale watu wako wa karibu, they'll be there with you. Unlike wakati you lose. When you lose, they'll not be anywhere to be seen. Watapiga mtini. So that's the main reason why in politics lazima uwape wale ambao wanafanya kazi. Ujaribu juu chini, watafutie mahali wakae. Sababu usipofanya hivyo unajiua kabisa. So the woman is saying that tumepewa nominations. So they've seen someone akifanya kazi in that ground. Who has been nominated? Who nominated him? Who will people follow? So that's happening. Unlike Raila Odinga, you know, Raila Odinga commands a crowd without awarding loyalty. At times,
and that is what this woman is actually complaining about.
That's the same thing she's complaining.
Yeah.
That wewe unatumia watu vibaya. Tumekuwa ukiita hapa bedroom. Now let's say Raila anasema Kibra ni bedroom. Kuna maendeleo gani bedroom? Raila alikuwa MP Lang'ata. Kuna maendeleo Lang'ata.
Was by someone else we are seeing.
Sisi mtu mwingine ndiye amekuja akanyoosha hapa.
Yeah.
So this is the big picture. Na another thing, Raila hapeani pesa. Watu wakonja, watu wanakuja mkutano. Wapei pesa pande nyumbani. Ruta akikuja there's mobilization money. Watu mtaitwa huko in groups. Kwaya fulani toka mahali fulani. 1200. Ni nini ngawa hizo? Vaa yellow. So that's how you are loyalty at times. Utakuja mkutano yako na nyumbani na hata 1000. Ataimba Raila ama ataimba Ruto. Come to that.
Of course, mwenye amemlisha. And to my viewers, that is how we are ending the Q&A table today. Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for joining us. And to our viewers, obviously, requesting you to keep it interactive. The heavens have decided to go with my voice, but keep it interactive on the comment section below, and tell us your opinions as well as your thoughts on what happened today during the Tubonglere Festival at Turkana County, where Raila attended but was not given a chance to speak. Instead, he did his press briefing later on, citing different things, as well as your opinion on the sentiments as well as the remarks by leaders there who expressed their displease when it comes to awarding loyalty. So from the Q&A table, we're saying good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on whatever time you're watching this. and see you in the next K&A table.
Aya, tulisema tuheshimiane, tulisema